Good evening and welcome to News. I'm Salma Tijala. Coming up in tonight's edition of News, National Protected Area Authority arrests 2 Chinese nationals. Sierra Leone begins to observe World Breastfeeding Week, and Civil Rights Coalition and the African Union Livestock Policy Hub call for less chicken importation. All the stories and more, including sports and business, all lined up in News tonight. For our first story tonight, the crime officer of the Tankora Police Division, Kono District, Mohammed Samora, has informed the SLBC that his division will investigate the alleged mining at the Congo Bridge to know whether those behind the mining have environmental impact assessment license. He made this statement at the end of a training organized by Environment Protection Agencies to popularize EPA's mandate. Francis Danema sent us his reports for News Hour.
Protection Agency EPA organized the training to ensure that participants know the 2008 and 2010 acts of EPA with the aim of ensuring they adhere to environmental laws. The legal officer EPA, Ladonet Macaulay, explained how the training will help the implementation of the EPA's acts in Sierra Leone.
That they are not aware of this act, even though when notification letters are written to them, the act is quoted to them and they can always come to the agency to ask for a copy of the act. But notwithstanding that, we decided to organize this sensitization seminar to educate them on their responsibilities to the agency and why they should take out an environmental impact assessment license.
The training came at a time that an alleged diamond mining is taking place in Kono. Participants were keen to know whether EPA is aware of the mining and has issued environmental impact assessment license for it. The Eastern Regional Head EPA, Kamoba Dabo, informed the participants that his agency was not informed about the alleged mining operations, stressing that his agency has told them to stop, but they did not listen.
First of all, let me say this with honesty that the agency was not consulted. We are not consulted at all. Nothing like that. We just heard about the mining.
Do they have an EIA license?
No, not even mining license. Even mining license. It's an illegal mining.
The crime officer of the Tankora Police Division, Mohammed Samora, described the training as timely as it has equipped them to prosecute environmental lawbreakers with current charges to court. He promised that his division will investigate whether people carrying out the alleged illegal Kono Bridge diamond mining obtain EIA license for the operation.
Well, we are trying to investigate that matter for now. We are going to investigate whether it is a license place or not a license place, and we are going to do it.
The facilitator of the training, Ibrahim Yila, described the 2008 and 2010 EPA Act as an act that gives power to the agency to prosecute in court of law. Participants of the training thanked EPA for the training and promised to implement what they have learned to the fingertip.
Still with the environment, 2 Chinese nationals have been arrested by the National Protected Area Authority with the help of the Maborka Police Division for illegally mining gold in the Kangaroo Hills in the Tonkole district. Ibrahim Soma reports.
That they can't create road now. A big offense now the Wildlife Act and the National Protected Area Act of 2012 for create a road inside a national park.
Amos Kamara, a staff of the National Protected Area Authority, explaining the crime these 2 Chinese nationals have committed. They were nabbed by the authority after they got a tip-off that some illegal mining activities are taking place in the Kangaroo Hills in the Tonkolele districts, which is reported to have large deposits of gold. The hill is one of the protected areas declared by the National Protected Area Authority for conservation. The two Chinese nationals, Yang and Kua, are said to have been illegally mining in the Kangaroo Hills in search of gold, carrying out deforestation and depleting the forest reserve. According to reports, this company has been mining without document from the EPA or National Minerals Agency and the National Protected Area Authority. According to Sergeant Samura of the Magboroka Police Division, they received a distress call from a conservation officer, Bintu Kalon, of the authority. He said the two Chinese nationals have been arrested and are helping the police with investigations. Brahima Bangura is the Monitoring and Evaluation Manager of the National Protected Area Authority. He stated that it is an offense to carry out mining activities in protected areas, saying that the suspect will be investigated and charged to court.
Look at all the police areas, the big roads, you see marks of the very machine, the layer, they don't pull on. Maybe overnight. And you really see some structures, you see machinery, generators, and uninhabited structures all over the place.
The conservation site manager of the authority, attached at the protected Kangaroo Hills, said the operations of the Chinese company has comprehensively destroyed the Kangaroo Hill, saying that the reserve forest has been heavily depleted. Some of the workers told SLBC that they are not aware that the Kangaroo Hill has been declared a protected area and promised to vacate the site with immediate effects. Ibrahim Samara.
As thoroughly observed World Breastfeeding Week, the director of the Directorate of Food and Nutrition, Aminata Shetim Kurma, has said despite significant improvement on breastfeeding, especially exclusive breastfeeding, much needs to be done to sustain the gains. She made a statement during a press conference on World Breastfeeding Week at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Joseph Stanley was among journalists.
The objective of this year's commemoration is to raise awareness on the new Sustainable Development Goals and how they are related to breastfeeding, infant and young child feeding, as well as anchor breastfeeding as a key component to enhance sustainable development. Addressing a news conference, the Directorate of Food and Nutrition, Aminata Shamit Koroma, said that breastfeeding is linked to the Sustainable Development Goals and is a key element for people to know how to value their well-being from the start of life, how to respect each other, and care for the world we share. She added that breastfeeding, and in particular exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of a child's life, ranked among the most effective and low-cost interventions for improved child survival and health. Madam Aminata Shamit Koroma described breastfeeding as the natural bond between a mother and a child, and it is safe, tastes good, sustainable, and gives protection against infections. She revealed that in Sierra Leone, there has been significant improvement in the rates of breastfeeding, especially exclusive breastfeeding, and that it has greatly contributed to the reduction of chronic malnutrition. The UNICEF Nutrition Manager, Dr. Kajali Pental, described this year's theme, Breastfeeding, a Key to Sustainable Development, as a link to the goals of breastfeeding, with special focus on nutrition and food security, survival, health, and well-being of infants. She said the United Nations acknowledges the importance of breastfeeding for sustainable development as it is basic human right. A representative of Focus 1000, Paul Senge, explained about the importance of breastfeeding, especially exclusive breastfeeding, and appealed to newsmen to help promote the practice for sustainable development. An interactive session formed part of the news conference.
Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Officer, Ministry of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Brian Kagbo, has urged district medical officers to redouble their effort in scaling up action for the successful implementation of the presidential recovery priorities. He made this revelation during a meeting on the 10th to 24 months Presidential Recovery Priority Program. Joseph Stanley again.
Addressing healthcare providers, Dr. Kagbo encouraged them to build on community engagement and surveillance on prone epidemic disease, foster private-public partnership collaboration, as well as strengthen coordination and communication between partners, the hospital and the councils. He observed that the district continued to encounter challenges on service delivery and reminded them of their roles and responsibilities in addressing issues that are critical to addressing the desired results for resilient health system within the presidential recovery priorities and the agenda for prosperity. Dr. Kagbo reiterated that the destiny of the nation lies in the hands of the Health Ministry and expressed the need for the successful implementation of the 2 years operational plan.
That the Ministry of Health has a stake in the President's recovery priorities, which I believe as a ministry we need to actually support without any thinking. But please, let us prioritize the 10 to 24 month priority, because the President is actually very much concerned with it. We are trying to recover after the 18 months of the Ebola, and if we are to move as a nation, it means we need to address most of these key issues.
The Deputy Chief Medical Officer 1, Dr. Serian Kamara, congratulated healthcare providers for the success made during the 6 to 9 months recovery plan despite challenges. She also spoke about plans for the recruitment of paramedics and drivers for the National Emergency Ambulance Services at chiefdom and district levels that will help improve and promote maternal and child health and drastically reduce maternal and child morbidity and mortality. Dr. Kamara reported progress made on the 24 acres of land acquired at Keri Town, Western Rural District, for the establishment of structures for the National Emergency Medical Service, a warehouse, and other key infrastructural development. Health Sector Coordinator, President's Recovery Priorities Program, Dr. Clifford Kamara, underscored the importance of the district operational level for the health sector, since this is where most program activities are implemented. He reminded them that the President's Priorities Program outlines a set of activities that are embedded in the Ministry of Health and Sanitation plans and budgets, highlighting the challenges to save the lives of 600 women and 5,000 children by 2018. Interaction and contribution on key issues from the district medical officers formed high point of the meeting. SLBC News Joseph Stanley reported.
The Minister of Sports, Ahmed Kano, has requested for permission of authorization to attend the Olympic Games in Rio, Brazil. The request was made on behalf of the executive of the National Olympic Committee. Raza Bashkima sent us this report.
Olympic Committee and team to the President, the Minister of Sports said the Games commence on the 4th of this month. He informed the President that Sierra Leone's contingent is already in Rio and revealed that, as per protocol, they received a correspondent from the International Olympic Committee earlier this year requesting that Sierra Leone should take part in the Games. The minister maintained that they have not proceeded because they did not receive authorization from the President and therefore requested for permission for them to proceed for the Games. Handing over the Games tunic to the President of the National Olympic Committee, Dr. Patrick Kuka, disclosed that as a committee they have earlier given President Ernest Bai Koroma the invitation to the Olympic Games, to which he actually agreed that they could participate. He reaffirmed that they are comfortable and that the officials of the National Olympic Committee and the ministry will be leaving on Wednesday to join them. Presenting the Games tunic to President Ernest Bai Koroma, Dr. Kuka explained the relevance of each item to him.
This is the blazer we're going to use, the national colors, and make sure the size is right for you, because we had problems during the Jamboree.
Yes,
so this one, and this is what we're going to use to travel. have the official pin for the games. It'd be nice if you can pin one on there.
Receiving the items, President Ernest Bai Koroma said with such a presentation, he is left with no choice but to authorize them to participate in this year's Olympics. And as a government, they hope that the team that is already out there will gear themselves up and that they are adequately prepared to represent Sierra Leone in the manner that will do the country proud. The president requested the officials to convey his message of encouragement to them and to assure them that if they come back with gold or silver medals, the country will really welcome them appropriately. He made it clear that he is not making a commitment, but he is sure that any one of them that will get the country to that level of recognition will also be recognized in Sierra Leone on their return.
Let me wish you all the best, and please ensure that you take care of yourselves. There are social issues you have to be watchful about. There are medical issues. Thank God the chairman will be there with you, and of course he will, I'm sure, provide the first line of advice on the medical issues, and also security issues. We know what is happening around the world, so we have to be very careful. And I'm sure if we take note of all of these and stick together as a team and as a nation and continue to motivate them, I'm sure we'll come out with flying colors. So once more, you are authorized, and I wish you all the best.
President Koroma addressing the executive of the National Olympic Committee as it departs for Rio, Brazil. The Language Studies Department, Fradi College University of Sierra Leone, has ended its second annual Language Studies Week on the theme, Language the Key to Surmounting Barriers. The ceremony took place at the American's Auditorium, was to showcase what they have been doing as a department. Omubaka was there.
English is a serious challenge among citizens. Many people say the use of English is not common. Even graduates cannot express themselves properly in English. It is against this that the English Studies Department, FBC, decided to organize this week to showcase the activities of the department with the aim of ensuring students speak good English. Head of Department, Language Studies Department, Prince Kenny, said it has not been easy organizing such a week, adding that the use of English is not only important to students but to all, so that they can be able to express themselves in English. Delivering the keynote address on the theme, Language the Key to Surmounting Barriers, Dr. Elvis Gbanabum Alwell, Director General, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, said that the use of English should be a must to all.
We all need to communicate competently in order to surmount any barrier between us and others. However, competence alone is not enough. Linguistic exposure to other cultures and their communication, tradition, and patterns is perhaps the second most important aspect after competence. Language is extolled as a positive key to bringing down barriers. At the same time, language, when it is not competently used, could itself be its own barrier to achieving needed goals. Therefore, the use of the expression of language instead of languages gives the impression that proficiency in language, meaning any language, is the key to barriers.
Dr. Gbanabum Alwell went on to say that breaking the barriers in English is a gateway to many successes, especially now that technology is improving every day, which he said that effort is needed to reduce these barriers. Dr. Alwell said that language barrier is not only applicable in the different languages, but the different interpretation of words.
The Civil Rights Coalition and the African Union Livestock Policy Hub have embarked on a campaign to encourage Sierra Leoneans to prefer locally produced chicken to imported ones. The campaign is targeting market areas across the country. This follows the recent rotten chicken saga, where dozens of Sierra Leoneans rushed to Bomé and carted away with hundreds of cartons. Sheko Sumaila has more.
is coming at a time when many Sierra Leoneans are afraid of eating chicken as a result of the rotten chicken saga. Last week, dozens of Sierra Leoneans rushed at rotten chicken that had been dumped at the Bome landfill site in the east of the capital. This led to the Ministry of Health advising Sierra Leoneans to be mindful of the chicken they eat. This campaign by Civil Rights Coalition is to encourage Sierra Leoneans to be going in for locally produced chicken than the imported ones, and for the government to give more support to local poultry farmers and of the livestock sector generally. Alfonso Manley is Executive Director of the Civil Rights Coalition. He said Sierra Leoneans should patronize local producers.
So what we want to instill is to restore their confidence in eating chicken. That don't eat imported chicken, we cannot guarantee you. But when it comes to consuming our own local chicken, we can guarantee you that confidence. Just as you see, this aka. These are locally processed chicken. So we want to restore the confidence of people who are buying the chicken. We want to restore confidence on people who are selling the chicken. That's why we are visiting various markets in the western area for start. So look, we have our brother, our own colleague, our own people who are dealing with chicken business, and they are not importing. So this is safe for you to consume.
The Deputy Chairman of the African Union Livestock Policy Hub, Mohamed Gajigo, said government should give more support to local producers to enhance productivity.
You see, Mr. Sheku, for quite a long time, we've been advocating on this. We knew quite well that this type of incident would arise one day, because the whole thing is the policy hub is there to advocate for the livestock, and also to promote livestock farmers. And here in Sierra Leone, we've been importing chicken for quite too long. We think this is the right time to stop the importation of chicken so that we can promote our own local farmers in this country.
Public Relations Officer, Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, Abubakar Darami, said more taxes should be levied on imported chicken.
We have a growing number of poultries in the country, and these poultries, if capacitated, not by giving them money, but by protecting our local industries, they will definitely meet up to the task. When I say I'm capacitating them, we have Sarah Aka that is doing processing and packaging. We have the Paja poultry that is raising that has an hatchery and raising DO chicks. We have Lincoln poultry. All these poultry will sell their brands to Sarah Aka. Sarah Aka will process their packaging and send them to the market. But if the tax that was waived on imported goods in 2006-2007 is not being placed back on this product, we will find out that these imported goods will be competing with our local products. Our local product costs money to be produced, and they are fresh to the table.
Traders in chicken say they are ready to do business with local poultry farmers. Traders in chicken said they are ready to do business with local poultry farmers. They appreciated the campaign by the Civil Rights Coalition and the African Union Livestock Policy Hub, as it will enable them understand the operations of local poultry farmers. Reporting for SLBC News, I'm Sheku Smaila.
The Chief Justice Abdullahi Cham has said that one of the roles of legal education in the advancement of the judiciary is to promote the competency and professionalism of the legal system in Sierra Leone. He was speaking during the third annual dinner of the Law Society of the University of Makini. Roskinima Stevens reports.
The role of legal education in the advancement of the judiciary in Sierra Leone, one of the pioneers and founding members of the Law Department, UNIMAC, Chief Justice Abdullahi Cham says the task of maintaining judicial competence depends on the willingness of the judiciary itself to ensure that its members are knowledgeable and skilled in the study of the law and its development, and that judges are trained in the application of legal principles and the art of judging. This, he said, could only be achieved through legal education. The head of Law Department, Lawyer Cherno Benedict Jallo, described the establishment of the Law Society as a huge leap of faith that he had ever experienced. Addressing barristers, potential and non-barristers at the third annual dinner organized by the Law Society, UNIMAC. The Vice Chancellor, University of Makeni, Reverend Father Professor Joseph Alimami Toure, says the university is a homegrown, built upon the shoulders of Sierra Leonean indigents who have done tremendously to give a first lift to its existence.
And for the past 10 years, Sierra Leoneans in the law department have assiduously put their shoulders on the wheel to deliver, I would say, the best results in this university. I want to thank sincerely the head of department of the law faculty, lecturers of the law faculty, for your tremendous contribution in making the University of Makeni an envy in the annals of our history of tertiary education in this country. Please, let's give a hand to our head of department and lecturers of this department. The University of Makeni has produced a Fulbright scholar. Your law department has produced the first Commonwealth scholar. You have a Commonwealth scholar from your department. It's a pride to the university. You have come a long way. You have come a long way in helping the university in reviewing our curriculum and adding a special dimension to public engagement, community engagement for the common good. Our law department is unique. It's a department that is rooted in the vision of bringing justice, democratizing legal education, bringing legal education to the doorsteps of those in the rural communities, in the urban communities, those who are vulnerable in society, those who are impoverished, and those who are at risk. The law department has fashioned, has designed community programs that will lift our people from poverty, that will provide social justice for our people. This is the uniqueness of your law department.
The dinner is an ideal opportunity for meeting barristers, potential and non-barristers in celebrating remarkable individuals with exceptional terms and conditions. SLBC News, Rose Konima Stevens.
Well, from that story, we'll now move to the business desk, and for that, we join Hornet Conte.
Hello and welcome to the business update with me, Awanatu Conte. We begin with the foreign exchange rate. The US dollar buys at 6,035 leons and sells at 6,157 leons. The British pound sterling buys at 7,988 leons and sells at 8,153 leons. And the euro buys at 6,741 leons and sells at 6,876 leons, courtesy of the central bank. Standard Chartered Bank has recorded an increase in profit by 79% in 2015 compared to 2014. The bank's revenue grew by 21% on foreign exchange gains and fees on transfers. These disclosures were made during the bank's 44th general meeting held at the YWCA New Hall, Brookfields in Freetown. Judith Sana was there.
Abat McLeod said, despite the effects of the Ebola outbreak on the private sector, the bank emerged very strong with an outstanding performance in 2015. It disclosed that profit before tax in the year under review was 17 billion leons, representing 79%, as 2014 profit before tax was 9.5 billion leons. It said the bank saw a significant increase in rates in December 2015, closing at 11.5%. compared to 5.2% in December 2014. Mr. McLeod added that inflationary pressure increased in 2015, driven by low agriculture production, disruption in cross-border, and the pass-through effect of the leon's depreciation. It said the leons depreciated against the US dollar by 15% to 5,614 leons as at December 2015, against 4,869 leons in December 2014. The Chief Executive Officer, Idrissa Kamara, said that the non-funded income increased from 41.2 billion leons to 58.8 billion leons, driven by increased foreign exchange and trade activities. It said that the total assets increased by 17% to 669 billion leons, and total customers' deposits grew by 18% to 527 billion leons.
A superb financial performance with profit before tax increasing by 79%. I will acknowledge three things here. First, it is our ability as an institution to understand our operating environment, interpret the business fundamentals, and ensure we position the bank to take advantage of opportunities out in the market, even though the environment was very challenging. Two, I will give credit to the team in the bank, a dedicated team that was focused on execution, clear about what we want to do as a bank, clear about the way we want to serve our customers, and clear with respect to what our performance direction was in 2015. And thirdly, I will say the senior management team and the board in terms of providing the strategic leadership and focus executed to delivering that superb financial performance. And finally, our customers, loyal customers over the period, challenging period in 2015, but I can say if I can recall, all of this contributed to the superb financial performance we had in 2015.
Mr. Kamara said the bank's focus for this year is to drive an efficient balance sheet growth to support sustainable performance. Judith Sana, SABC Business News.
Well, thanks to Judith Sana for that report. Melo Africa is to export 10 20-feet containers of pure bean honey to the United States this year. Only 3 containers were shipped last year. Lucian Ganda filed in this report. This will be Melo Africa's second shipment of honey to the United States. The company provides markets for bean farmers and works directly with them without middlemen. Company sources say there are a lot of middlemen in the honey business scheme, which often leads to a situation where the actual farmers receive pittance instead of getting the full benefit of their labor. According to the company, they buy from the farmers and export to Sweet Harvest Foods in Minnesota, USA, and have been working with his partners, Melo Africa, for several years now to ensure the supply of pure bee honey from Sierra Leone to the United States is guaranteed. Melo Africa started with farmers in Koinadugu, Kenema, and Kailaun and has extended to Potloko, Bombali, and Cambia. Company sources say there is more money in bean, keeping with minimum labor compared to palm oil production, adding that the Melo Africa trains bean farmers on how to keep the hives and harvest world-class honey. The company, according to marketing sources, has approached donor agencies to support bean farmers in the country, as most of them use local materials. Well, that's the business update. I'm Awanat Conte. Keep watching.
Many thanks to Awanat Conte with the business news. Up next is sports. And now for sports, the Inter-Area Committee League organized by the Portuguese Town Amateur Football Association has commenced. The Deputy Minister of Sport, Olusanko Conte, was the guest of honor and took the kick-off signifying the start of the league. The opening match was between Dundas Street and Ferguson Street, which Dundas Street won by 3-0. We now bring the highlights of the opening.
Loud measuring the country and look at it as if understand fallacy, their neighbors and the issues of the sport. These are the stats that I know for Francis. It's a very good player. They are players, they don't know seriously, they don't know more. And so they have the capability to win the game, but football you can't predict to. This is football, as a one
Oh, Minister! Powerful Minister!
That was the commencement of the Inter-Area Community League organized by the Portuguese Town Amateur Football Association, and the kickoff was done by the Deputy Minister of Sports, Alsango Conte. It ended 3-1 in favor of Dundas Street. It's 4 days to go for the opening ceremony of the 2016 Olympic Games. Team Sierra arrived in the Games Village in Rio de Janeiro a week ago. How well is the team coping ahead of the commencement of the Games? Unisadin Kagbo, who is in Rio, reports.
The much talked about Olympic Games will soon be here. This is the Athletes Olympic Village here in Rio de Janeiro, the host city of the Games of the 31st Olympiad. It will be the first time South America is experiencing the Games, which suggests that Brazil, no doubt, has traveled a long way to the Games. The concept of this Olympic Village is completely different from previous games. All 31 buildings are closely connected, so much that it takes less than 60 minutes to navigate the entire village. The concept of this village may not be unconnected with the fact that, in legacy, this apartment will be sold out to high-income earners in Brazil. There are swimming pools all over the place, making it easy for athletes to access training facilities. There are connecting transports to take athletes to different venues with ease every 15 minutes. The main Olympic Stadium is a distance away from the village, but athletes have been urged to pay attention to time. The innovation here is the construction of the fitness center. The state-of-the-art facilities are no doubt amazing, but most of the athletes are coming across them for the first time. However, they are readily being used by many officials apart from registered athletes. The Sierra Leone delegations arrived much more earlier for proper acclimatization. The athletes have already started testing the facilities. They were scared to use the state-of-the-art facilities in the fitness center when they arrive because they are seeing most of the equipment for the first time. They are, however, gradually coping and are now comfortable with most of the facilities. They have started their regular training. Swimming was the first association to access the pool. The athletes seem very much happy and are ready to swim. It will be the first time in many years for swimmers to represent Sierra Leone in the Olympic Games. The athletes have not promised King Solomon's Island, but are poised to do their best to improve their previous timings. Coach Bobson Mansari is in charge of the squad.
Of course we are here. We are going to compete with the elite, and ourselves are part of the elite. So we are here already as Sierra Leonean representing our country. We are ambassadors here. It doesn't matter what it takes. We are going to do our best to see that we represent our country. We are very confident, and my swimmers are going to do their best to make sure that they participate in the Rio 2016.
The male athletics athletes also took the track for training. The female athletes from the United States of America is yet to arrive in the village. Coach Joseph Lahai is working assiduously with athlete Dudu to ensure that he clock a time to impress the world.
That was Eunice Adenikawa reporting from Rio. And now to any news, the main points again. National Protected Area Authority has arrested 2 Chinese nationals. Sailing has begun to observe the World Breastfeeding Week. And Civil Rights Coalition and the African Union Livestock Policy Hub have called for less importation of chicken. That's all in the news tonight. Many thanks to the news editor, Asmi and the rest of the production team. Up next is HCU's in the news.